Welcome to the GoOutLiving Attitude, a cancer survivor's journey through health and wellness, helping others search for the tools to bring us a healthier and happier lifestyle. Hi everyone, Jonathan Brandt, GoOutLiving. Today we have a great guest. We have Rob Brown, a metabolic coach who at 21 has really figured it out already. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you for having me, Jonathan. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited about this. Like I said, I was reading your bio, and what really stood out was how you really do understand it because of what you've already gone through in your life. As a 21-year-old, you've gone through a lot. So I thought we could start with, your story.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone looks from the outside in and they think I've figured it out already. But I mean, my opinion and my viewpoint is still evolving. And that's the beauty of the world. So, I mean, back in, I think it was when I was 15 or 16 years old, I was always overweight my entire life. I was always the kind of the quote unquote chubby kid, for lack of a better term. And I couldn't figure out my health for the life of me. I mean, from my mother and father putting me on a treadmill, telling me I need to, run a couple miles per day, and then eating the salads and the whole diet foods. I couldn't figure it out. And during the pandemic, I had a lot of time on my hands. I mean, I was still in high school at that point, so the whole online learning thing was relatively new to everyone. And I just started, dieting down, figured out, caloric deficit, things of that sort. And I lost a lot of weight. I lost a ton of weight and I looked great from where I was. I mean, I was teetering the line of morbid obesity at that point, at my height and weight at 16 years old. And I got down to, I had abs. Everyone thinks that, abs are the sign of health. But on the inside, I felt terrible. I felt awful. My skin was breaking out. My hair was falling out at 16 years old. I mean, at that point, you're in puberty and you're developing as a young man, and my growth stunted. I mean, my voice was still cracking then. And I looked at people around me, and I had a couple friends that they could eat anything they wanted. And they were super thin, they always full of energy. And I started questioning really, you know, what has to do with the metabolism that their body is making more energy than me right now. And as much as I wanted to eat more food, I couldn't because I would gain all the weight back. And I did. I gained all the weight back because I just couldn't sustain the cardio I was doing, the caloric deficit, the diet foods. And this led to honestly, an eating disorder. And I would restrict really, really hard during the week. And the weekend would come, I'd go out to a social setting, or I'd go out to a birthday party, or I'd go hang out with friends. And I would binge out on, foods, sweets, whatever I could get my hands on, because my body was just completely starving at the cellular level. And I didn't realize it at that point. But as I started to get into Ray Peat, who was in the bioenergetics field and had his PhD in biochemistry, I started reading some of his work and online and listening to podcasts that he was in and other people in the metabolic sphere. And I realized that the metabolism in the human body is not a calculator. It doesn't care about calories. It doesn't care about the amount of food that you're eating. It cares about the hormonal signals that you're giving it. And that led me down the rabbit hole of the metabolism, and I haven't turned back.
That's amazing. Do you feel like you've been lied to this whole time then, leading up to that?
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I mean, from the day that started to gain a lot of weight, I mean, my parents were doing it out of the love of like, maybe we increase our exercise here. But I was always active. I was a three-sport athlete: golf, hockey, and baseball. I was the most active person there was, but my weight was struggling. And If your body is not in a good hormonal environment, it's going to store fat. Fat is just a direct sign that your body's in a unnatural state and it's in a stress state. Fitness influencers online and people getting this advice, they're getting it from bodybuilders and people that are just continuously dieting 24/7. And I listened to the food pyramid, and that was a big thing for me. And so did everyone else. That's what we've been directed to by the authoritative figures within society. So I followed everything to a T, but I was still feeling terribly on the inside. And that's when it clicked for me was, I started questioning the authoritative figures, the people giving the nutrition advice to me and the people in the world. And then I did the exact opposite of what they've been telling me, and I started to feel better. So when I started to question that authority, I was like, wow, there is a lot of people that are being lied to and are being steered in the wrong direction.
Who's controlling it? Who is, I hate to say lying, but I mean, that's what we're kind of going down. Who's doing it? Is it the food industry? Is it the politics? Is it all of it? I mean, and what are they getting out of
Everyone is in bed with one another, and the FDA is in bed with people in the politics are in bed with people in the big food industry. They're all intertwined. And when you start uncovering these little, basically, chains of connections, you realize that everything is intertwined in some sort of way. I mean, it's no think about it this way. I explained this to my parents and everyone that kind of follows along with me. We live in an environment where processed food makes up more than 60% of the average adult's basically plate on a daily basis. And the processed food has all these metabolic disruptors, and they have seed oils, and they have all these different toxins that are made in a lab that shouldn't be in the human body. And 93%, more than 93% at this point, of Americans have one sign of metabolic dysfunction. So, metabolic dysfunction, everything happens in the metabolism, and it starts in the metabolism, every disease. So, when the processed food starts to take its toll on human beings, they go to the pharmaceutical industry, which is their doctor, and they describe their symptoms and their sicknesses that they're having. And the doctor then goes out and prescribes a pill to cure the symptom that they're having. And there's side effects of those pills. So the person goes on and they take it for a month or two. They go back and they say they're having a side effect of the pill. But then the doctor then prescribes another pill, and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, now the average American is on 4+ prescribed medications. And that's filling. So we started with the big food industry. Now we're moving to the pharmaceutical industry that is now getting their dollars from all the prescriptions. And then it's crazy how everything is intertwined. But a good point, no doctor or anyone asks, how's your diet? What is on your plate? They're so even when I went to the doctor, my doctor would tell me, listen, Rob, you got to do something. They would talk to my parents. They'd remove me from the room. They'd say like that you got to do something about his weight. Like have salad, have this, have that. Like, but it wasn't like what is he eating on a daily basis? Like it wasn't have eggs or something like that. It was just eat less. It wasn't the food quality. It was just the amount of calories. And that's the issue that we're having is simply it starts right at the processed food industry.
which again goes back to politics. I mean, we can go back I think you had mentioned 60s or 70s where sugar industry came in and it's like, "Hey, we need to sell this." So let's start throwing it in all our food. We can even go back to the corn industry. It's really the same thing. Corn syrup blew up. And again, it's all processed foods in the end. Let's look at food itself.
Hmm.
I brought this up before. Our breads, for instance, in our local store. You could probably explain it better than me, but they really have no nutritional value because they've been processed out of it, correct?
There is zero nutrition in grocery store bread. I mean, I eat bread and my girlfriend, we eat bread, but we go to a local bakery that has local organic ingredients that all their breads are made with a sourdough starter. So there's a fermentation process and it has good bacteria. It's great for your gut. I don't recommend people eating bread 24/7, every day because gluten is just it's poor for the gut. But staying on track, the grocery store, it's even tough to. I mean, I basically shop in maybe one or two aisles, and 95% of the grocery store is obsolete for me because the bread, I mean, you don't. There's sometimes 90 ingredients in some bread, and there's so many people that just push calories in versus calories out, and it's all about energy balance. Well, yeah, and they say like, oh, you can lose weight while eating your favorite foods. You don't have to give up bread. It doesn't matter what you're preaching. 90 ingredients doesn't belong in the human body at all. And that's where we run into metabolic issues.
I mean, like you said, the body is not designed to break down these unnatural ingredients, is basically what you're saying.
100%. 100%. And that's where we run into, obesity and males not having enough testosterone. We're in a testosterone epidemic within males right now. And women, their infertility is on the rise because of birth control and estrogen and progesterone imbalances within their body, and their cycles are all messed up. I mean, people online are preaching calories in versus calories out. This is the perfect human body with abs, but they can't reproduce. I always go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If we pull up that pyramid, the bottom layer is physiological needs: food, water, shelter, reproduction. Now, we have this entire society that is still arguing about calories in versus calories out, processed food versus whole foods, and no one gets to the top of that pyramid of self-actualization, of loving life, of having beautiful children, having a beautiful family, of just enjoying what you do on a daily basis because no one has their physiological needs covered. So, what I tell people is just eat what your great, 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 great grandparents would recognize as food. That's what we've evolved on for millions of years. Why don't we just continue in that path?
Well, one of the arguments for that is people back then didn't live as long, but it
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily the food, was it?
No, most of it was infant mortality. So that is naturally going to drive a life expectancy average down. So, I mean, most infant deaths, I mean, sterilization, think of that. When childbirth, there's a lot of sterilization that needs to go on, no matter if you're doing an at-home birth or you're doing a doctor birth. And, you know, yes, now we have more sterilization, but it wasn't about the food. It was about, just healthy practices all around of sterilization and making sure things are clean.
Well, and I'm sure we can look at disease that can go along with that. Yeah, we have immunizations now that actually do help. And
Hmm.
that's another reason we're living longer. Unfortunately, that's turning upside down. Study just came out not too long ago that younger people are not going to outlive their parents. Is that the food?
We can make an argument either way. It could be the food, or it could be the amount of vaccines that are needed as opposed to me versus my parents. I mean, naturally over time, we're leaning more towards more vaccinations as soon as a child is coming out and being birthed. I mean, we can argue either way whether it's wrong or right. I mean, but a newborn child, I don't think deserves to have 50 vaccines right away. Like that, there's still time for development, and that's directly affecting their DNA and everything going on in their body and their development. But I think the processed food industry has a great impact on our lifespan. I mean, if you look at humans, so like look at a plant, for instance. If you get this brings into like sunlight and just watering it on a daily basis. If you want a plant to grow, do you give it less water, less plant food, and less sunlight? No, you give it more sunlight, more food, and more water. And the same thing with human beings. If you want them to function properly at the hormonal level, you need to feed them proper food, proper water, and proper sunlight on a daily basis, and proper movement.
When we break down foods, it turns out to be we need things because of energy, we need things for growth, we need things for, I mean, us humans, we need it to continue, basically. We need the nutrients and minerals. If we're looking at ultra processed foods, we're not getting it from there. So, what foods, yes, we talk about organic, but what foods do we really need? Because it's so easy to say, okay, just do organic. But what does that
Mhm,
mean? What do our bodies actually need
mhm.
to function correctly?
I'm actually going to bookmark that for a second, because a lot of people that, I talk to and I work with don't even have access to organic foods. So I recommend just eating whole, natural, single ingredient foods as they existed in nature for millions of years. So our bodies, like I had mentioned earlier, they don't care about calories. They care about the nutrients, the minerals, and the vitamins, like you had mentioned. So when we get our hunger signals, which this brings into leptin and ghrelin, which basically are hunger and fullness signals in our body. Those are our hormones. And when you're hungry, your body is going to trigger hunger because it doesn't have enough minerals, vitamins, and nutrients to carry on. So the typical person would say that is trying to lose weight, saying, "Oh, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go and have, a kale salad with maybe a couple vegetables and then some salad dressing." Well, if you just look at it from a nutrient perspective, they're still going to be hungry after that meal because it's not loaded with the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that we have. Yes, vegetables have, minerals and nutrients that you can't get in some animal foods, but at the cellular level, you're not hyperloading those nutrients and those minerals and those vitamins. So a lot of people, when they're dieting, they take out the most calorically dense foods naturally. But the most calorically dense foods have the most vitamins, nutrients, and minerals. So most people, they'll take out, say, an egg yolk. They'll have just the egg whites in the morning. Well, there's no nutrients in the egg whites. All the nutrients are in the egg yolks. Like eggs are a superfood. And then red meat. People will transition from red meat to chicken breast. Well, A, because of the saturated fat and cholesterol, but because chicken breast is super lean. Like, but the nutrient profile as a chicken breast versus red meat, you basically get all your B vitamins in red meat. So there's, but when you say you eat, eggs and fruit or OJ for breakfast, orange juice, you're getting basically all your nutrients right there in the morning to start your day. And I've been recently looking into quantum biology, which is basically your body is more of a sunlight organism than it is a calorie organism. So like eating with the sun and, fixing your circadian rhythm, we didn't have all these blue light screens to begin with. So most people, if they're losing weight, they'll get up and they'll fast. And that's basically telling your body it's not time to eat, or it's not time to turn on the gas tank, or the to put the pedal to the metal for the day. But when you're getting up and you're eating right away, you're hyperloading those nutrients in the morning. You're telling your body, listen, it's time to get up, it's time to get going. And there's the energy. So it when you start to look at weight loss from the minerals, the nutrients, and the vitamins perspective, you realize it goes much deeper than the calories and the supposed energy on the calorie package.
Where does somebody get started?
Start with throwing out everything in a package that has a package, it has a barcode. I mean, we can even just looking at the back of your packaged food, and if it has more than 4 ingredients, it's probably not good for you. And I tell people because, I mean, we can go as deep as you want with things, but most people don't care as much as I care with, the biochemistry. But just eat whole, natural, single ingredient foods as they have existed for millions of years. That's my main message. And when people hear that message, they're like, oh, I can do that. Like, that's, chicken, that's steak, that's fruit, that's vegetables, that's oils and fats that have existed for millions of years.
We talked about the food pyramid before we came on and the controversy. And you don't have to say whether you like it or not, but why have we become so controversial with health in general when we know things are going badly? I just saw a study where, well, it's not quite out, it's supposed to come out, and they basically alluded to rectal cancer in young 20-year-olds is on the rise, really on the rise. And again, it's going to come back to our foods. Why are we making things so controversial?
I think everyone brings politics into things. And like, I don't care if people are on the far right, the far left, or right in the middle, but everyone should be able to agree with the MAHA movement. Make America healthy again. I mean, it's simply taking processed food out of the environment and replacing it with whole, natural, single ingredient foods. And that is basically what the food pyramid is doing. And if you go into a grocery store nowadays, they're getting rid of a lot of the dyes and the red 40 and all these artificial ingredients in snacks. So if you go, say, I think Cheetos and Doritos, they have their naked line, which is a white package now, and they're getting rid of all those ingredients, which is a great step in the right direction. Fantastic, but you still turn that around. There's seed oils, there's all these other things in there. But it all started with the food pyramid and the corruption and the fraud that had happened initially with the first food pyramid that came out in the 1970s with 6 to 11 servings of processed and refined carbohydrates on a daily basis. And that's keeping your insulin sky high, like, which is an unnatural state for human beings. Like, when you eat, your insulin goes up and it's supposed to come back down gradually. And that's normal. That's fantastic. But with these 6 to 8 meals per day that we're supposedly supposed to be having with the old food pyramid, it's impossible for that insulin to stay on a baseline. But if we fast forward to the revised food pyramid that has protein, fats, and carbohydrates in the correct order that human beings should be eating food, your insulin is going to act in a normal manner. And a lot of people, they bring up politics when, I talk about the food pyramid, and it has nothing to do with politics. It doesn't matter your stance on who's in office or who was in office. it's simply a matter of eating real food over the processed food that has infiltrated our society.
I had a episode that I basically said, "Who's at fault? Who is at fault? Is it us personally? Is it government? Is it pharmaceuticals? Is it medical? Who's at fault for the situation we're in right
I
now?"
think it honestly comes back to multiple industries at fault. We have the processed food industry, we have the pharmaceutical industry, and then we have the FDA that is at the head of all of this. So we can honestly say the FDA and who has been lining their pockets or basically at the forefront of all of this. Because if it wasn't for, all these foods being FDA approved and all these medications being FDA approved, I mean, we wouldn't be in the financial situation that the country is in. I mean, everyone is making money somewhere. So you follow the money, and that usually leads you down the path to the individual that is at the forefront of it. So if we go back, it goes right back to the FDA.
Do we have to take responsibility for ourselves and what we're putting in our bodies?
100%. No one is coming to save any of us. Because if we listen and we don't question the authoritative figures at the top and the people that are recommending what we put into our bodies, then we're basically telling, you know, the FDA, it's your job to make me healthy. Well, unfortunately, that it doesn't work like that. Like everyone was telling me I was following everything to a T when I was losing weight, the first couple of times, calories in versus calories out, but nothing felt right. My hormones were out of whack. I wasn't losing the weight and I got stuck. But when I started to question things and started to take my health into my own hands, everything started to click. It was like a light switch moment for me. And all of a sudden, things started to work correctly. So, absolutely, your health is at your own hands. And I want to bookmark what you said about how young individuals nowadays are there's a spike in colon cancer and rectal cancer. And there's a lot of hype online about fiber. It's because fiber, everyone's food or our food nowadays is lack of fiber and we're not getting enough. And you have all these people just supplementing for fiber. It's not the fiber, it's what's in the food. Like we have people that are telling their followers to supplement for fiber, yet they're promoting Pop Tarts and Rice Krispie treats before a workout. Like those two things, like if we just got rid of both of those and you ate maybe like ground beef or chicken breast and sweet potatoes and an avocado before a workout, you're getting your fiber and you're completely negating all the processed food and the need for a supplement because at the end of the day, they're lining their pocket as well.
I actually talk about fiber quite a bit because with all my issues from side effects, I wasn't getting the nutrients I needed.
Mhm.
And that's when I found out, yeah, I was told to take fiber. I was told to take many other things because I wasn't getting enough. And now I found out I have no lining. So it doesn't matter what I eat or supplement, I'm still not going to get it because I can't metabolize it correctly. So it's not so much, okay, take fiber, whatever. It's all of it in general. You need all the minerals and nutrients is basically what you're saying. Don't just think you need one thing in your life. You need it all, and you believe you can get that from whole foods, from organic foods.
Mhm. 100%. I mean, if you look at these individuals online and if you're taking a boatload of supplements along with the daily food that you're having on a daily basis, your diet in itself is nutrient void. Like you're not getting what you need in general. So a supplement is a supplement. To supplement the things on a daily basis that you're having. So if you're not covering the grounds thoroughly already, okay, fantastic. I'll add a supplement in. Like for me, I don't like the taste of organ meats from animals, like beef liver or things of that sort. So I supplement with that on a daily basis. Or in the cold weather months, I can't get oysters, which are also packed with nutrients. So I supplement with an oyster supplement. And that's how it should be. But if you're taking, 15 to 20 supplements on a daily basis, which I was too, because when you're in a caloric deficit, it's difficult to cover your grounds.
Well, and the point is don't be in
Right.
our situation. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what it really comes down to is be ahead of it. And that comes back to the younger folks that we were discussing. Do you think they're listening?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm graduating college in a couple of months here, and just walking around campus and what is served within the dining halls and outside of classrooms in the communal spaces, like we have, it goes much deeper than, you know, a couple people getting online and saying, eat whole foods. Like we're at a psychological disadvantage here with the marketing and the hyper palatability of these foods. And then you add in like the drinking that goes into college campuses and things of that sort. So you have drinking, which is basically poison, and then you're adding on top of these foods that is being served, and all of a sudden it's a breeding ground for metabolic disease. And it's unfortunate because if you look in dining halls, you go in there and the the seed oils that the food is cooked in, which are just inflammatory. A lot of people have different insights onto them, but for me, they're inflammatory. And for the people that I work with, I just try and cut them out. Everyone I know that has gone to eat in the dining hall, they say, Rob, I cannot keep the food in. Like, I eat the food and I just go to the bathroom right away. Like, I'm just eating chicken and rice. And I eat chicken and rice at home, but like, what's going on here? And I was just like, if you want me to go down a deep dive, I can, but it starts at the larger institutions. Like, how we're supposed to be an institution where we're developing people for the real world, the newest set of thinkers that are coming out, the people that are going to be, holding society and the economy on our back, but our fuel that what we're supposed to be thinking with is not optimal. And we're just not listening as children. Like everything is like, yeah, like you said, your children, they're like, oh, I don't want to listen to you about anything. And it just goes right over our head. And I mean, I'm very young and I learned quick. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people, down the road are gonna have a lot of health issues.
It's going to come sooner than later, unfortunately.
It will.
So you work with a lot of older folks, and I think there's a connection there as well because older folks have kids. Do you find the clients you're getting are one, yeah, they need a lot of help themselves because they've been doing it wrong for way too long. But that's an opportunity to teach their kids, correct?
Absolutely. No baby comes out of the womb craving Doritos or processed foods. Everything is a learned behavior. So these individuals that I'm working with have been failed by the system. They have been told that calories in versus calories out is the end all be all. And if they're not losing weight, it's your fault. And they're emotionally gaslighted into thinking that their willpower is not strong enough and that there's something broken in them. And when I tell people, just we're going to calculate your maintenance calories, what you burn just sitting there. If you get up in the morning and you lay in bed all day, how many calories does your body need on a daily basis? And more often than not, it is double the amount of calories that they have been eating working out, hit workouts, running around with their children, working a job, stressed at the max with their boss at work. And immediately we just get to their maintenance of them doing nothing on a daily basis. And they're like, Rob, I feel so much better. Like I have energy. I lost 8 pounds this week, even though you told me not to go to my hit workout class. Like, why? And it's because your body is storing fat for a reason. Like we should be thanking our bodies for fat storage because fat storage is simply your body in an unnatural state. You have toxins in your blood. Your body stores those toxins in your fat stores. That's it. That's what it is. And when you put it into that safe environment, the older people that I work with, they say like, well, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. Why am I eating more? Well, we got to get you out of that high state of cortisol, get the cortisol down, and more like 100% of the time, 110% of the time, 5 pounds just like that. And they're like, I have been working for years to get 5 pounds off. Wow. And it comes back to just being lied to.
And again, once they get it, they're going to teach their kids.
Hmm.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably last question. How do we, because I think it's a we, I think there's a lot of us out there that are trying to help a lot of people without throwing people under the bus, which sometimes is easy. How do we get their attention? How are we going to change our population, which is now chronic disease? And yeah, life expectancy is going down. How do we change it?
It's having the difficult questions or difficult questions and difficult conversations. So on a daily basis, but it starts with the household. So if we're not getting the attention of, the people in their, late 20s, early 30s, early 40s where they're having children, I mean, they're just going to pass on the misinformation and the processed food to their children. I mean, if you go to a playground and snack time, what are they pulling out for snack time? Maybe, candy or granola bar or goldfish or all these other little snacks that are really good. Well, they're meant to be really good, but it's not what the next generation of children need to be eating, need to be fueling. And this brings into play like my child can't focus at school. They can't sit still and, they're not getting good grades. Well, let's peel back the layers. What is your child having for breakfast? Well, a bowl of Fruit Loops and then maybe like a juice box. Okay, well, let's look at the Fruit Loops. Like, what is in those that is like if you just supplement that for eggs and maybe like a sausage patty that, has good ingredients in it and a cup of orange juice that just has orange juice in it, I guarantee that, that focus is going to be a lot better at school. So it's it's asking those tough questions. It's having those difficult conversations that people deem as uncomfortable. And it's unfortunate, but that's where growth happens. Growth always happens from a place of discomfort, not from a place of comfort. And parents, I mean, I'm going to have children one day, hopefully. And, you know, I'm trying to tell my peers now, like, listen, like we got a lot of work to do. Like there's, we're in a crisis. It's an epidemic of processed foods, no matter which way you want to slice it or dice it. And I'm trying to do my part as much as possible. And I know there's a lot of people in my space that have more reach than me. and they're doing a fantastic job. And it's just all of us banding together and talking to our loved ones, and then those people talking to their loved ones, and it's a communal thing.
I agree 100%. I think you hit it right on the head. It's acknowledging where we're at, as a nation, we need to, and just come together and support each other.
100%. When in a time of struggle, you just need to stick together and to plug through.
Love it. So, Rob, how can everybody get a hold of you?
So I'm on Instagram and YouTube right now. So Instagram, I post a lot of my short form content, and you can message me directly at Rob Unedited. So just go into the DMs, it will be me. I'll respond, we can chat, and I can walk you through some things. And my YouTube is the same at Rob Unedited. There's some more longer form content of how you can start your metabolic journey.
Well, and we're gonna do a blog post that goes along with it, and we'll put all that information on there. Is there anything you want them to know on the way out?
Eat real food and get some sunshine and some daily movement on a daily basis, and love everyone near you. That's all.
Simple.
That's it. That's real health.
I love it. Love it. All right. Rob Brown. I mean, absolute pleasure. It really was. And again, for a younger person to really be getting it, it makes me feel good that people like you are out there and really wanting to help. So again, thank you so much. Absolute pleasure.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate everything.
Of
Happy
course.
I can help.
All right, everybody, as you know, find the attitude, keep the attitude, go out living. Till next time. Bye, everybody.